Today on CB Gist, Katy Perry slams social media as being the decline of human civilization. Brad Pitt pushed out of hospital in a wheelchair after getting dentist work. And lastly, Khloe Kardashian's ex, Lamar Odom, says Kobe Bryant was going to help him with gambling problem. And we are back. Although she is the third most followed person on Twitter, Katy Perry has slammed social media as being trash. The 36-year-old singer, who has amassed 115 million followers on Instagram, as well as 109 million followers on Twitter, as well as social media for being trash on social media. In a follow-up message, she also added that it was a decline of human civilization, but hey, it seems nobody has taken it to heart yet. With her tweeting this led to a lot of followers pointing out their own feelings about social media itself, and also showering her with praise and hoping that this wasn't her own way of telling them she was actually leaving the app. Well, let's say that it's not the first time that she'll be eating out at the platform, because in 2018, she had said that spending too much time online was not good for us as a society. Well, she is right, especially as a lot of people are using things they see on social media as a yardstick on how they should live or how they should express themselves. Katy is currently the third most followed person on Twitter, with only Barack Obama and Justin Bieber having a higher count. Though she has quite a number of followers on Instagram as well, the singer has been using the Twitter app to update fans on the progress of this season of American Idol, and as she is currently a judge on the show alongside Lionel Richie and Luke Bryan. Well, let's just say I do honestly accept what she's saying, because these days a lot of people have already used online conversations to replace actual communication, like one-on-one communication. So yes, and another thing about social media these days is that it's so easy to spread negative news on social media without having to verify it first, and a lot of damage might have been done with debilitating effect, and by the time we come to find out, oh, it was false, well, let's just say there's no point crying over spilled milk at that moment. And another thing about social media is that you never can tell, because these days it's so easy to bring up the old cancel culture, and one of the reasons why cancel culture is so popular is because of social media. Now, does that translate to everyone leaving social media? I mean, no, because a lot of people make their money off of social media, so that's another part. On to the next, Brad Pitt was spotted being pushed out of a medical center in a wheelchair with his hood up and wearing a face mask and large sunglasses. It is obvious that he was just trying to go below the radar in order to avoid the paparazzi and whatnot. And it was obvious in his pose of sitting down and folding his hands in the wheelchair that he was trying to avoid attention from those who were waiting by the doors. The actor was recently announced as being one of the year's presenters for the Academy Award, which is scheduled for April 25, as it was named as a star-studded lineup along the likes of Harrison Ford, Halle Berry, and Reese Witherspoon, with more set to be named. Though right now he's currently involved in a courtroom battle with his ex-wife Angelina Jolie following their initial split in 2016. And in Angelina's words to Vogue in 2020, she separated for the well-being of a family, as it was the right decision to make at the time. Well, one can tell that either way, it's both of them trying to put their kids in consideration and whatnot. And yes, for those who are wondering about the wheelchair, it's just a way of him to blend into the crowd. Although everybody quite knows that was actually him, so there was no point, but at least I'm sure it'll have bought him some seconds to, run away. And lastly, Lamar Odom has told how Kobe Bryant scolded him for his gambling, but offered to help him with his debts. Lamar revealed this to ex-NBA players Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson on their Smoke podcast, that he had accumulated huge debt through gambling, and he had called his former teammate for help. He also opened up in detail about how his debts had spiraled and how Kobe had scolded him for his habits. Though he added that if you're in a bad situation, especially about money, Kobe wasn't the one to call, but he had built up the courage to contact Kobe and put his pride to one side. Though he had admitted that especially when it comes to money, if you're in a bad situation, Kobe wasn't the one to call, but he had built up the strength and put his pride aside to contact Kobe. Although Kobe criticized his habits, he had spoken to him and promised to help him with his gambling problems just weeks before the former NBA star died. It revealed that it was the second last time he spoke to Kobe before the star was involved in a fatal helicopter crash. The two had been married in 2014 following a relationship of over 10 years, and in 2016, Angelina filed for a divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. And it's been reported that the two stars have spent an excess of $1 million each to push through their divorce, but the end is not in sight yet, as they still have a lot of grueling court processes to go through. As an attestation to the kind of friendship that both of them had, following Lamar's hospitalization in 2014, Kobe left a preseason Lakers game early to go visit him in the hospital. Well, speaking a bit more on the Kobe Bryant case, it is sad what happened, and also talking about Lamar Odom, I feel he's come a long way from the drugs, the gambling addiction, and what else. Well, I'm very glad that he's able to get himself back together, know what to do, things to avoid, and just keep himself right on track. And when you're able to have a pushback and just be able to stand firm against your vices most times, I think that's one of the most important things. Alright guys, that's about it today on CB. Just thank you for joining in. As always, let us know what you think in our comment sections on every of our social media platforms: on Instagram at cameraboy.tv, Facebook at cameraboyofficial, Twitter at cameraboytvng, and also like and subscribe to our videos on YouTube at cameraboytv. And you can also hit me up on Instagram at watife_ONI, same thing on Facebook and Twitter as well. So till I come here next time guys, keep staying safe.